Number one continues to be the market access issue. Many of our minimum invasive therapies are sort of what categorized as class 3 technologies, which require local trial. That oftentimes take 2 to 3 years, and then you take about a year or so just to get the product in, get hospital listed to utilize. So that time lag remains to be there, which I think is something that we need to, as an industry, we need to work together. Now, there's certainly some very promising development in China. For instance, in Hainan, the government allowed Lecheng, the tourist area zone, to promote some of those first trial, first use policy, which allows multinational to actually utilize the product within that designated area without the product getting approved. So I think those are very, very promising and good development. And there's also other policies coming out right now, like MH allowing multinational to designate local manufacturers to produce technology. Again, some of those options are now available for us to accelerate the new product launch in China. The second area is the economics front. As you know, this year we have the national tender on stent. Of course, the price reduction is quite heavy, about 89% of price erosion to our business for that segment. And I'm sure a lot more tender will happen. In the long term, I remain to be very optimistic. I think it is a good thing, healthy thing, as what the government trying to do is certainly to bring down the end user's price, address the affordability, and taking out some of the leakage. All those measures, I think, at the end of the day, will allow this industry to grow in a more sustainable, healthy way. Having said that, in the short term, I think most of the enterprises will have to bear that short-term pain and deal with the economics. How do you deal with that significant price erosion? How do you continuously enhance your operational efficiency and continuously optimize your GTM model so that you can tackle that economics in a more efficient way? But again, I think in the long term, I am still very hopeful. 30% of the Chinese population will be over age 60, so aging is an issue. As you grow older, a lot of those chronic disease becomes one of the top on the chart. Cardiovascular disease, cancer, stroke, and all of those, Boston Scientific has very, very strong portfolio. I am very hopeful that we will be able to meet some of those unmet patient demands going forward, and I see this market continuously to be underdeveloped. So there's a lot more patient education, physician training, and account development that we need to do. Market potential is certainly tremendous. And then geographically, I continuously to see the lower tiers become the next frontier of the medtech industry. But of course, the onus is on many of us. How do we deploy our resources as a result? How do we train those lower tier physicians? How do we make sure that our product and our technology can reach those lower tier patients in the most efficient way? Because we all know some of those areas are a lot more scattered. Each account, their productivity may not be that high. So how can we deploy and redefine our business model, and how do we serve our patients better in those lower tiers? And last but not least, for multinational, I said I will keep mentioning this word about localization. In the past, I think Boston Scientific is very good. We're very strong at importing products, bringing products in. More and more so, we realize China is a big enough market, and the clinical needs could be different. So how do we continuously develop locally appropriate products? I think that in itself is a challenge, but it's also a great opportunity for us. So how do we get closer to the local market needs? How do we be able to derive some of those local insights from the clinical side, and then working with our local partners, invest in that research and development area, and invest in the manufacturing front, so that we would be able to generate more products in China for China, and hopefully going forward, not in China for China, but for many other parts of the world.